Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome to May Love Light. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. My name is Kristen May. Oh, how are you feeling today? I'm a little bit on the struggle bus, to be honest. Um, I've shared that I have been experiencing a bit of a cough. A bit. I've been experiencing a cough, and it's been a little agitated lately. So please forgive me if I have moments where I'm needing to tend to that. So I have my tea and my water here. I'm good. I'm just letting you know if there are moments where I'm doing a lot of coughing, that's what's happening. Um, Let me adjust my blouse. This is like annoying. Oh, it's like the mirror thing, so it's not. I have to like, okay, opposite side, opposite side. Okay, this is okay. Uh, that's good enough. Okay. It'll be all right. We'll do what it do. Okay. Mm. All right. So this is Mindful Mondays. I make this available weekly, and today I wanted to talk about sound. And each week I've been going through the traditional anchors when we meditate, starting off with body sensations, the breath. This week we're talking about sound. I can't remember the order I went in, but it's there on the tube. So whenever you like, you can those videos, access those videos. Ooh, I may not talk as much today. Whew, okay, we are in this together. All right. Yeah, just taking a moment. There are some things that are on my heart and my mind. This is the fifth year since the murder of George Floyd, and so that's something that is coming up for me. Just reflecting on like where I was when I heard the news. I was actually in Detroit, um, staying at my mother's just because I needed to get away. I was living in Charleston, South Carolina during that time, and I drove up to Detroit. I was just staying here for a bit just to have some human interaction because I was quite isolated in Charleston during that time. But yeah, just kind of sitting with that and seeing what arises for you too. If that's something that has been on your heart and your mind um, today or any day when that arises. Um, yeah. Okay, so let's talk about sound. Mm. And talking about sound, I was reflecting and just kind of like bringing to mind again what does what is mindfulness and the way I like to hold this meaning is being aware in the present moment without judgment, with openness and kind curiosity. And this definition comes from Diana Winston and Sue Smalley, and which comes from John Kabat-Zinn. And the addition of the word kind comes from a dear friend of mine, Anthony Mays, who also goes by T. And so I'll read it again. Being aware in the present moment without judgment, with openness and kind curiosity. So when we are talking about sound, um, sound is present, our ears receive it, and the moment you're like, I don't like this, it becomes noise. And the moment you're like, I like this, like you're inviting it in, or it just is what it is. You're just receiving this, like, okay, there's sound in the space. Um, so it's interesting when we're using sound as an anchor, actually bringing that curiosity of like, am I pushing this away? Am I? pulling it for like, am I trying to grasp on it? Like, do I the moment I, like, want this sound to continue, there's this attachment to it. So it's like, can we just allow it to be what it is, and just receive it as is? So that is kind of like the invitation of when we are using sound as an anchor. And when I talk about it, I usually reference like ambient noise. Like I keep saying noise, and I have to pause. Ambient sounds. Yeah. So, excuse me. Mm, okay. So, when there are ambient sounds in your surroundings, I have an ear purifier next to me, so I can hear that. Maybe if you're, like, in the kitchen, you can hear the hum of the refrigerator, or if there's, like, the heat kicks on and you hear that. Maybe you hear birds outside your window or cars passing by, just, like, whatever's in your element. What you do is you just allow yourself to receive these sounds, not placing judgment or, like, trying to figure out what it is. Like, "Ooh, what bird is that? Is that a woodpecker? Is this a is that a swallow?" That's, yeah, we're not that is, not the practice in that moment. Just, like, receiving these this, these sounds in our environment, and outside of the practice, I do like to play with, when I'm feeling annoyed by a sound that I'm receiving, like, I'm like or perceiving, like, I'm like, there's a dog that's barking outside that's, like, missing its people, and so there's, like, "Oh, that poor dog," and then I'm like, "I don't wanna hear this dog." Then it's just like, this dog is gonna bark as much as it's gonna be there, and then at some point, I'm just kinda, like, okay with the dog barking, um, and then all of a sudden, you just don't hear it as much, or eventually the dog just paws or stops, um, but still, I like to kinda play around with when I'm hearing a sound and noticing myself, like, really listening to it, and it really comes forward, or, I take my attention somewhere else, and, like, the sound kinda goes into the background, um, but, that's, like, every day-to-day type things of, like, receiving sounds in our environment. And also, sometimes, the inquiry can be, like, what kinda stories we're attaching to the sound. My mother, when I was younger, I used to get really annoyed when she would sing. But now, as she's gotten older, my perception and when I hear her sing, it's just, like, how sweet for me to still be able to, like, hear her sing and, like, the joy that she has when she is singing, and it just completely changed the relationship I have with my perception of hearing my mom sing, and so, yeah, it's like nothing has changed, she still sings the way she sings, but it's, like, me and how I'm receiving it. I feel like that's enough before I start coughing, right? So let's sit with sound. Yeah. Mm. Oh, goodness. This has been a journey. All right. Excuse me. So let's just make sure you're in a comfortable seat. Noticing your environment, taking in, orienting yourself, and orienting. It's just allowing ourselves to settle the body. You can look around your environment, looking behind you. And this is just allowing our bodies to settle just a little bit more and allowing ourselves to know that we're okay in this moment. We're safe enough. Mm. And when you're ready, you can allow yourself to settle in just a little bit more if you want to soften your gaze by looking a few feet in front of you or close the eyes completely. And the invitation is to work with the anchor of sound. For this practice, I encourage you to use the sounds in your environment. If there are birds in the background, cars passing by, or maybe a ear purifier, or just receiving the sounds in your environment, not placing any judgment of liking it or not liking it, just allowing it to be. And as the mind wanders off, it's going to wander off, whether it's trying to figure out what the sound is, or maybe what you got going on this week, or maybe what you're going to have going on today. And just gently guiding ourselves back to receiving sounds. For this practice, I will not be talking as much just to try to conserve a little bit of my voice and just noticing what arises for you in that moment. In the case if you were using my voice as an anchor, you can just sit and receive the sounds. And if an item that you have been anchored to stops, you can still allow yourself to receive sounds in the environment. Maybe there's a pause in the sound that you were focused on and it comes back in. You don't need to place a story on it, just allowing it to be. If it's a fan in the laptop, maybe it's a loved one upstairs moving around, maybe it's dogs in the neighborhood conversing, just allowing ourselves to receive. We'll sit and receiving the sounds around us. mind wanders off, and we gently invite ourselves back, receiving the sounds around us, being aware in the present moment, receiving the sounds without judgment, with openness and kind curiosity. And remember, if you ever feel overwhelmed, you can open the eyes and orient yourself by looking around the space and settling. And when you're ready, you can always rejoin. And we'll sit together for a few more minutes. Allowing yourself to guide yourself back to receiving sounds, the sound of my voice, as we prepare to bring ourselves to closing this practice. I'd like to share a haiku that I have written, and just receiving each word, allowing it to land. Know who you are, love. Walk with your own knowing love, and that is enough. I'll share it again. Know who you are, love. Walk with your own knowing love, and that is enough. When you're ready, you can open your eyes, bringing yourself back into the space if you haven't already. Any stretches the body is feeling. How are we feeling? How was it working with sound? If you have questions, you can send them into maylovelight, the number 8, at gmail.com, and I can respond to them in the future. Um, I plan to try to continue Mindful Mondays as I continue through my healing journey of breathing. Uh, um, yeah, and it, yeah, just taking a moment to rest and reflect and really tend to ourselves. There's so much happening in the world and in our beings, and just, yeah, make sure to have grace and care for ourselves. And with that, I'd like to offer a dedication of merit. This is allowing the goodness that we've cultivated together in our time, in this time, that it radiates outwards and touch the hearts and minds of all beings everywhere. All beings, seen and unseen. Ooh. So, if you like, you can place your hand on your heart or hands in prayer position, whatever feels resourceful for you. May any goodness that has come from us practicing together today be dedicated not only to us, but to all beings everywhere, seen and unseen. In particular, we dedicate this goodness to those who are suffering, especially those who are suffering under violence, racism, sexism, homophobia, transphobia, ableism, ageism, xenophobia, and all the intersecting oppressions. We commit to doing the work within ourselves and in the world of uprooting greed, hatred, and delusion so that our true heart's wish may come true, that all beings everywhere be free from suffering and pain. And then ending with some metta, some loving kindness. May all beings abide in the ease of well being. May all beings be safe from both internal and external harm. May all beings know connection, love, joy, and peace. And may all beings be truly free. And this dedication of merit comes from the Dharma Homies Collective. It's a dear group that I attend, um, and specifically Devin Sangster Rath within that collective. Yeah, so please take great care of yourselves and each other, and I will see you all next week. Um, 9 a.m. Eastern Time, 6 a.m. Pacific Time. uh, can you believe it's the end of May? This is ridiculous. Okay, I can't. Okay, June is right around the corner. All right, take great care, everyone.